when the Spirit chooses to move, we need to move along with Him.
Welcome to Union Bible College and Academy. I'm Adam Buckler. I want to take you into our latest chapel service where various members of our student body, faculty, and staff are reflecting on their recent adventures on the foreign mission field. Miss Rebecca Powell has just returned from South Africa, where she was there serving the International Conservative Holiness Association. Brothers Elvern Asbury and Phil Horde have recently returned from China, where they were there representing evangelistic faith missions. And lastly, Brother Donald Smith has just returned from Bolivia, where he serves as director of Emmanuel Missions of Bolivia. Listen carefully as they highlight their adventures.
There was new people that came in that had never been there before. Pedro, one of our pastors that works down in the Chaco, which is the semi-tropical thorn jungle area, had brought in a group of 20 young people. By the time conference was over, every one of those young people had gotten saved and were going back home with a changed life. The last service, Pedro and his wife were just beaming. They had accomplished the purpose for which they came. And what's interesting is some of those young people come from homes where their parents told us when we were wanting to establish a church in that area, told the national pastors and the missionaries, we don't want the gospel, take it on over the ridge on the other side if you want to do a church. And now their children are coming and getting saved and going home with transformed lives. That's a miracle, but God is a God of miracles.
On my way back from South Africa, I had to stop in Abu Dhabi. And while I was there, I was on the plane, and this thing on the little TV screen that they have in the plane came on. It was talking about American Express card holders can stay in the lounge for free, which the lounge is a place where you can eat, take a shower, get some sleep and stuff before you have to go on to your next plane. So I was wondering, hey, if I don't have to pay for this, why pay for it? I'll go for free. So I talked to the flight attendant about it, and she gave me a card to get into the lounge for free. So I went in, and the first thing I did was I decided to eat because I despise the airplane food. So as I was eating, well, first I got my food, and I was sitting there, and I prayed for my food before it. And as I started to eat, the man beside me tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "Are you a Christian?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "Well, I just heard you pray. And I just got this Bible, and I was wondering, why would a God die for me?" So I went ahead and told him about the salvation message, and at the end of it, I asked him if he would like to pray. And he said yes, and I prayed with him and his wife, and that was just an amazing experience for me to have. And I couldn't believe it, and it just reaffirmed to me that this trip, there was a reason for it. That was the only reason. I'm fine with that. But I want to thank the Lord for that.
There was a really unusual circumstance on a long train ride that we had, maybe close to 20 hours. We had the hard berth section of the train where people sit on the lower berth with 2 berths up above. And we were sitting there talking to different ones, at least I was, of the Chinese people that were on the train. Did any of them speak English? None of them. That's a problem. When I'm over there in this bilingual situation, I have even been known to talk Chinese to the person I'm with and get all mixed up on that. But anyway, one young man came. I say young. I thought he was younger than he was. In fact, I'm embarrassed about the first question I asked him was whether he was had gone to university or was in university or whatever. Well, here he was 37 years old. And I didn't think he looked that old at all. He belongs to a minority group, which is the same minority group that Lorraine comes from. So that was quite interesting. And I've noticed in my contacts with these people that they are very open, very friendly people, easy to talk to. Well, this young man that we decided to give the English name of Arnie to, let us know in no uncertain terms that he really wanted to be our friends. We talked for quite a while on the train. Did you want to say anything about what happened after we got off the train?
Yeah, we actually separated from him after we got off a little bit there. We were heading into one of the city. Well, go ahead. Can I mention the city name? Or?
Yeah.
That Guangzhou down there, actually one of the largest cities in the world. Guangzhou down there, and the roughest section of that city is right there at that train stop. I didn't know that until after. He didn't tell me that until after either.
For good reason.
Yeah. Anyways, we were, so when we got to that, off that train, off the little section to get back out into the street, Arnie caught back up with us. I think he told us that it was the most dangerous too. So I think he was, something told him to go back and to help us and to get us to where we needed to go. And so he went with us and took us all the way to a taxi and got us into a taxi and took us to our hotel we were going to be staying at. And then after that, we got up to our room. He told us, I guess he told us, I don't understand, I guess you told me that he said this, that he was going to take us out to lunch. He had to take us out to lunch. So he took us out to lunch after that, and we were able to just sit down and talk with him more, and just, I think he was even able to share a little bit about Christ with him too, and about that, and we were able to give him some literature, some Christian literature. So that was a really neat experience, and I'm going to keep Arnie in my prayers, and I hope someday to see him in heaven, and maybe even if I go back to China someday, to be able to meet up with him, and we're going to try to stay in contact with him a little bit too. So
He's already written to me several times. I've forgotten how many. Not very long, but little emails in Chinese that he writes to me. So I believe, and Phil felt it too, that didn't just happen. Especially in that kind of culture, we had a definite sense that God is in this. And as Phil says, we're going to pray for that young man.
As you can see here at UBC, we're not only encouraging our people to be active for the Master tomorrow, but we're encouraging them to be active for the Master today. I encourage you to support these missionaries and or their agencies. You can watch this chapel service in its entirety through our website or at www.holinessonline.com. For further contact information, you can call us at 317-896-9324. On behalf of all of us here at Union Bible College and Academy, I'm Preston Adam Buckler.